Hey, what's going on YouTube? This is Sever7 and today we are getting to check out something very special. This is the Hog House Model T Gen 2, and that's of course with the ultimate goal of seeing if it's worth adding to your collection or your daily carry rotation. Now, this did come by way of a very dear friend of mine, that's Mo Patty EDC. I'm going to have her channel linked down in the description. She shares with me a tiny, tiny fraction of her collection. She doesn't even share her most incredible stuff with me. And almost all of her content is shorts. So if you just need a quick dopamine hit, then after this video, go check her out, like, sub, watch a few shorts, do all the good stuff. But her collection is fantastic. So definitely worth a watch. Now, this was designed by Hog House, and it was also OEM'd by Hog House. This is a custom knife. Okay, so this is small batch, super limited. They do drops that sell out almost immediately. If they dropped it at 9 a.m., good luck finding one at 9:03, 9:04. Them suckers are gone, right? So you have to keep that in mind. Now, jumping right into it, we've got titanium for the scales, and we've got this beautiful milling. It's like this rippled milling. And then down here, we've got diagonal milling lines. Hopefully you guys can see that. We've got blacked out hardware. We have the nice Hog House logo. Very tasteful. It's like an H on the outside of an H. Looks really, really good. Flipping it over, we still carry on that black hardware. We have a deep carry milled titanium pocket clip. They do give you different anno options. So you can get this exact same knife or different colors of it. But you can get like purple, you can get blue, you can get gold. But pretty much as far as I can see, whatever you want. You can anodize it, and that'll be the clip, all the hardware. Basically everything that's black is going to be the color of your choosing, which is pretty awesome. If you look right here on the lock bar, it's going to say Model T Gen 2, which is a very tasteful way to brand your knife. The information is there if you want it, but it's also out of sight, out of mind if you don't. Let's talk about the ergonomics. We have a very streamlined design. You can grip wherever you want to. There's no recommendations, there's no suggestions. It's just a big, open, clean, hold it how you want to kind of knife. The only kind of stance they take is the flipper tab comes up here, and that's just to ensure you don't slip forward on the blade. I wear large size gloves. I can choke back and have plenty of room. I can also choke up and still have plenty of room. Ergonomics are incredibly comfortable. Couldn't tell if there was a pocket clip on there or not because it literally disappears in your hand, completely melts away. You couldn't find a hot spot if you wanted to. I could offer you $1,000, be like, find me a hot spot. And you'd be like, well, son of a gun. If I'm being honest, there isn't one. And you'd be correct. Everything is knocked down very nicely. Everything is smooth. Feels very, very good in hand. And these guys really knocked the ergos out of the park, which is surprising because, obviously neutral grip is nice because it's neutral. You can just kind of grab it wherever you want to. You don't have like choils and stuff like that kind of dictate where you put your hand. But normally what you lose in exchange for that is you lose the feeling of being locked in, right? And knowing that hey, I've got these spots that are kind of holding me in place. But the use case for this knife isn't chopping branches off trees, right? The use case for this knife isn't, pushing the limit so hard that the knife is going to slip out of your hands. Now, you can hard use this knife in the aspect of if you want to take it on a camping trip, you could do that. If you do a lot of work in the yard, you could do that. If, but you don't need to baton this, right? You shouldn't baton it. It's not what it's meant for. You could. The build quality is there for it, but you don't want to. So I find that this grip right here, with the little bit of grip I get from the milling, the fact that I can wrap my fingers all the way around the handle comfortably, and the fact that I've got this little barrier to stop me from slipping forward, I feel super locked in. And I feel like I could tackle everything I do in a day and then some with this knife. Now we're going to jump up to the blade. We're rocking RWL 34, which is a great EDC steel. We have what I believe is a bead blast. And then we've got stepped milling from below the flats all the way to the edge. If you look inside the cutout, we also have milling inside of there, which is excellent because it adds grip for the reverse flick, which, yes, you absolutely can reverse flick this. I've been using it a little bit. Not much, not a whole lot. It's not mine, but I've been using it a little bit. Here, let me just go ahead and wipe this blade off. There we go. All right. We are rocking a nice drop point style blade. The balance, just bouncing back really quick, is almost perfect. That's about where you want your finger to be. Technically, if we were right here, we'd be perfect. So you could say we are 2% butt heavy, but not really. You are pretty much about where you want to be. And actually, rolling it forward, I'm exactly where I want to be. So now the balance on this is perfect. Yeah, absolutely stunning design. Now let's talk about this action, because holy cow. Now you've got this generous flipping tab, and they'll lay it out for you. If you want, you can simply put your finger right here, fill in the gap, follow the ramp, and it'll rock it out. You can also, if you prefer, push button it from right here, and it rockets out just the same. And you might think like the push button might not look comfortable because you have this ridge here, but to be honest, they've rounded it. So it's like, yeah, no, you can push button all day long. You could push button fidget this all day long, and it's not going to get uncomfortable. Your finger's not going to get sore. It's not going to tire out. Reverse flick. And I don't even have nail for real. I know I keep getting comments about my nails, but I aggressively flick knives through testing so I can give you the real scoop on what's good to fidget and what's not. And that's cost me some thumbnail and some middle fingernail, but totally worth it. But yeah, reverse flick is good. I haven't tried thumb flipping it. Yeah, it's hard for me to do it without pushing on the lock bar. So I'm sure others can do it. I can't. Check this out. It just sucks it right back in. See? Fantastic. But the action on this is absolutely delightful. This knife is definitely in the same conversation as your Hermans, your Shiros, your Proteans, right? This is hanging right there with those big boys. These guys I don't think are quite as well known, but they absolutely should be. I really enjoy the steak knife look of the Shiros, but I gotta say, I think I like this look a bit more. Just something about the geometry of it, the styling, the angles, you know, something about this knife really, really speaks to me. And before I get too far ahead of myself, this lock bar access. You have generous scalloping on both sides, so you have plenty of landing to just get in there. And then the tension is tuned in such a way that it's not tight at all to move that lock bar over, but there's still enough tension from the lock bar onto the side of the blade that you have a good detent. And sometimes you have to trade. It's like, okay, well, we'll give you a comfy lock bar that's easy to disengage, but you're losing out on detent. Or vice versa, you'll have a really strong detent, but that lock bar is kind of a pain in the bottom to disengage. Here, they've struck a perfect balance. The acoustics, fantastic. We have a little bit of a shake shut. It's just so good. I could do this all day. I do prefer the reverse flick, but the flipper tab is done so well. Yeah, I mean, I could get carried away. I could do that for another hour and a half and just record it and upload it. Like, it's fantastic. Now, is this knife going to be lefty friendly? Yes. And why is that? It's not a reversible pocket clip, but it's still lefty friendly because of all the room they give you right here. If you could look past the pocket clip, and they might even make left-handed versions. I should have checked, I'm not sure. But if they don't, then this is still easy enough to manipulate. I'm not a lefty, so obviously I make it look terrible. Let me get that reverse flick. Okay, nope, I can't say this is lefty friendly because they would not be able to reverse flick. So at least not easily. Maybe they can, but I can't. So yeah, maybe not lefty friendly, but I imagine that it's quite possible these guys do make a lefty version of this knife, so I wouldn't sweat it too much. Definitely check their website. I'll have that link down below too. I don't get a commission on it. I don't get anything for it, you know, but it's there. I would definitely recommend also, if you're actually interested in getting this model, which you should be, I would recommend signing up for their notifications, right? This is not something that just sits on the shelf. This is something that it drops and it's gone. So, you know, check their Instagram, wait for them to announce a drop, keep an eye on your inbox, go to the website, have your information already filled out, click and go, right? This is not a knife for the faint of heart, and we'll go over the price in just a moment. So as far as the overall length, it's coming in at 8.1 inches, and I'm going to go ahead and we're going to do a bit of an oddball size comparison. I'm going to put it up against my custom Minkowski. Review on this guy coming soon. And it is coming in darn near the exact same length. And let's put it up against something on the opposite end of the spectrum. Another knife I'm sure almost nobody owns, the Drachinator. I believe the Wolf. We're using these knives simply because this is what's on my desk right now, and I don't want to rifle through my boxes. And then we'll do one more, and that's the, okay, well, that's going to be the Concept, what is this model called? Kratos. Or not Concept, rather Tenable Kratos. Sorry, still getting used to that. Same brand, but different brands. All right, so, I mean, with this thing being a little over 8 inches, it's definitely a full-size knife. We have a blade coming in at about 3.7 inches, and that's with a blade-to-handle ratio of 0.71 or 71%. Now, those numbers could be a little bit off because where they measured their blade and handle versus the closed length of the handle, those numbers were different. And I know there's a reason why those numbers can be different. It's like 11 o'clock at night, a little bit later, and I'm super tired. So I went with the blade length when the knife is open, or sorry, the handle length when the knife is open, not the handle length when the knife is closed. So I believe it's better than a 0.71 blade to handle ratio, but that could also be a trick of the eye because of how the blade in reality stops up here, but they kind of have it where they blur the line because the handle goes here and the blade goes to back here, right? And that gives this arch a 50-50 look, right? It gives the perception that this knife is 50% blade, 50% handle. And I know it's the illusion of, because we have, like an inch right here unaccounted for, but it looks so good. I love that design element. It looks so freaking good. Now, as far as the overall weight goes, this thing only comes in at 3.2 ounces. Not bad, considering the size of knife that you're getting. As far as the price goes, keep in mind, these guys are shipping out of, I don't want to get it wrong. I believe Finland. Yes, these guys are shipping out of Finland. So there's going to be tariffs and things like that on top of the fact that it's a custom knife. So with the shipping and the tariffs and then the cost of the knife itself, you're coming in at like $932. Now, custom knives at this level, you have to understand, they're making their own hardware. They're making their own bearings. Everything on this knife was made in-house, small batch, by them. That's gonna cost more. Just factually, it's gonna cost more. You don't have 50 employees that are touching this, right? You're not getting half-ass quality control, right? You're not getting that. Each knife that comes out of that place is a custom knife. You're buying a custom knife. And whenever you start talking about custom knives, you could have blurred lines from $800 to say $1,400, right? Where you're not entirely sure what's setting the price apart. You can get a Prince Customs Protean for like I think like $720, $750 table. You can get a Shark Nivco Waka for $2,000. What's the difference? Well, I don't know. I'm sure there are differences. I don't think Shark Nivco just jacked their price up, but what are they? I couldn't tell you. But I can tell you they're both custom knives, right? So I don't want to get too much into the weeds of, it's titanium frame lock, these materials, blah, blah, blah. That's not what this conversation is about. If you're focused on pure utility, and maybe pure utility and a little bit of frills, Kaiser's got your back, Concept's got your back. You want to go up a little bit, Riat's got your back, Poiculo, right? They've got your back. If you're looking for titanium frame lock with a little extra or a lot extra, but you don't really care about the custom aspect of it, then there's so many options out there, it's ridiculous. But if you've already played in that part of the knife world, you've already looked at, say, the Concepts and the Kaisers, and you've upgraded to Riat and then upgraded to Poiculo, and now you're wanting to stretch out a little bit more and see what else is out there, you have good options, right? You have good options. This one is exceptional. I would absolutely recommend this knife. I think it is fantastic. Despite that it's a custom, this would be a daily carry for me. I would use this all day, every day. Obviously, I have to rotate because I have other knives to review and other knives that I like, other knives I want to check out, because it's not going to replace my Onkovsky, right? I love my Onkovsky. Another fantastic value at that same price point, in the same conversation, price-wise. So it's not gonna bump the Onkovsky out of my pocket, but it would be every day I woke up, it would be hard for me to not grab one of these two knives and instead grab something else that I have to review, right? And I can tell you, even if I am reviewing something else, one of these two are going to be in my pocket, right? I mean, and it's not about this guy, right? He'll get his own video. But this knife is stupendous. I really don't have anything negative to say about it. The milling's perfect. Design's perfect. They have other milling patterns. If I could get this exact one with honeycomb in a heartbeat, I know they offer the honeycomb. It's just this stuff's hard to get, and poor. But these guys knocked it out of the park. I'm gonna stop gushing all over them. If I could only have 3 knives in my collection, I can tell you one would be my Onkovsky, one would be this Hoghouse Model T Gen 2, and then the other one, I'm not entirely sure yet. I'd really have to think hard on it, but this thing is an absolute beast. So, and I would use it all day long. Would not be a safe queen. All right, do me a favor. You know, tell me down in the comments, how do you feel about the knife? Would it be a user collection piece? Or is there something else that you have on your radar that's kind of occupying this, you know, $800 to $1,000, you know, space for you? You know, if so, let me know what it is. I'd be super curious, because this is a super ambiguous part of the knife world, right? Where you have all sorts of amazing knives and all sorts of, you know, different qualities and different things the makers prioritize. And, you know, with these guys, it's, you know, form, function, precision, you know, and clean as hell aesthetic, right? But for the same dollar amount, you might find something that is wild and complex, right? So tell me about that down in the comments. If you enjoyed the content, like the video. If you want to see more content like this, trust me, there's plenty more coming. Then subscribe, hit the notification bell, and you can follow me on Instagram and TikTok at SEVRSEVN. That's Sever7, SEVRSEVN. Thanks for watching, guys. Your support means the world to me. Peace.